Om Ajnanatimiraandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Dinamini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarini. Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Namo Brahmana Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagadhitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Te Namaha. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratrishe Namaha. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Master ki jai. Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna everyone. Hare Krishna. So, Hare Krishna, I welcome everyone to understand Gita in 18 days. So, today's chapter 9, Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya Yoga. So, the most confidential knowledge. So, Krishna is going to say a very confidential knowledge in this chapter. So, let's pay our obeisances to Sri Radha Govind, ISKCON Mangaluru deities, and to Srila Prabhupada, based on whose teachings we are conducting this 18 days course. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So these are all deities of this is Panchatattva from Mayapur. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Idam Tute Guhyatamam Pravaksha Manasuyave Jnanam Vignana Sahitam Yajnatva Mokshyase Shubhat. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you this most confidential knowledge and realization, knowing which you shall be relieved of the miseries of material existence." So Krishna says that why, so many a time, many people ask like why Arjuna is being chosen to tell this Bhagavad Gita knowledge, because he is not never envious. So what is envious? So envious we can define like I like what you have, but not the fact that you have it, right? So we like somebody is having something, but we don't like that he is having. We feel that maybe it would have been better if I had it. Right? That is envious nature. And Prabhupada says that this envious quality is very bad, and somebody who is envious will never be able to understand the Lord. Like Duryodhana, right? Duryodhana was never able to understand. When Krishna went for peace talk to Pandavas, on behalf of Pandavas, then Duryodhana was never agreeing even to give a pinch. He asked for 5 villages. Krishna asked for, because for Kshatriyas, it is necessary that they need to have the villages because they have to rule. So when Krishna gives a proposal of giving a 5 villages, right? They had a whole continent, right? Because till the rule of Parikshit Maharaj, it was said that the whole continent was under one king. So he was not even ready. He says that even I can't give a pinch of land. So that is because of envious nature. And Prabhupada says that the snake is having an envious nature, and because unnecessarily it bites someone. So if somebody is very envious, so they will be born as a snake in next life, Prabhupada says. So here, so Arjuna is being chosen because he is never envious of the Lord. And Krishna says, I am going to impart you the most confidential knowledge. So this Bhagavad Gita knowledge is the most confidential. So we learn three things in Bhagavad Gita. So the confidential knowledge basically is the initial chapters where we learn about the soul. So Krishna detailedly explains in the chapter 2 and subsequent chapters about the soul and its properties and what is the qualities and what is the actual position of the soul and all these things, right? And that is the and then that is about the soul. And then next we learn about that Paramatma is there in our heart, right? Krishna is there as Paramatma in a 400 form. So that is a more confidential thing. And the most confidential thing of Bhagavad Gita is that there is Lord abode. So Krishna has his abode, so which is called as Goloka, right? Goloka, Vaikunta. Prabhupada mentions Vaikunta also. Vaikunta planets or Goloka is the place where Krishna resides. So these things is not available in any of the books or scriptures. So this can be learned only by hearing. So hearing becomes, so many places it has been stressed by the Lord that Tat Shrunu, Krishna says, right? So you have to hear. So this knowledge can be understood only by hearing, because with our mental speculations and own experiments, we will never be able to understand this knowledge. And by hearing process, by submitting to a bona fide spiritual master and hearing from the scriptures and Vedas, Shruti Pramana, then we will be able to get the knowledge. And when somebody has the faith, then the knowledge will be realized. So what Krishna says, by knowing this knowledge, one shall be relieved from the miseries of material existence. So can anybody tell what is the miseries that we have? So which everybody has to face who has taken birth, right? Who come, I mean, all the conditioned soul have to go through these miseries. There are two kinds of miseries, basically primary miseries and secondary. So can you tell what are the primary miseries?
Mataji, this old age, disease.
Yes.
Death, Mataji.
Yes. And then? Yes, old age, disease, death, and one more.
Natural calamities, Mataji.
Huh?
Birth, Mataji.
Birth, yes. And what are the... Yes. So these miseries no one can escape. And what are the secondary miseries we have?
Adi Bhautika, Adhyatmika
Klesha, Adi Bhautika Klesha, and Adi
natural calamities.
Yes.
Adi Daivik Klesha.
Adi Daivik.
Yes, very good. So these miseries are always there, and material miseries we cannot escape. Actually, Prabhupada says material world, everybody are looking for extending the life, right? People want to extend life, and with the technologies, we are trying to extend the life of a person. But how much ever one do, one cannot escape from this disease and old age and death. So this is not possible. Even like so much austerity Hiranyakashipu did, and he wanted to also become Amara, right? He wanted to enjoy. But then even he could not, even after, because it is said that he did so much of austerity that it had become difficult for the living beings, and the demigods had to approach Brahma, and Brahma had to come down to give him the benediction. But then even Brahma says that I myself am not Amara. So Prabhupada says this material world, one can only the death can be made fast because they create this nuclear bombs and these things, right? But nobody can extend the life. So this knowledge cannot be, we cannot have this real knowledge, right? From the material, from the material qualification, one cannot have this knowledge. So this is from purport. So anybody wish to read, you can.
The Sanskrit word Anasuyave in this verse is also very significant. Generally, the commentators, even if they are highly scholarly, are all envious of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even the most erudite scholars write on Bhagavad Gita very inaccurately because they are envious of Krishna. Their commentaries are useless. The commentaries given by devotees of the Lord are bona fide. No one can explain Bhagavad Gita or give perfect knowledge of Krishna if he is envious. One who criticizes the character of Krishna without knowing him is a fool. So, such commentaries should be very carefully avoided. For one who understands that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the pure and transcendental personality, these chapters will be very beneficial.
Thank you. So what Prabhupada is saying, even the highly qualified, right, philosophers and scholars, they are giving their own, their own interpretations of in the Bhagavad Gita, and Krishna is not there, he is not glorified, and they because everybody has some intention to market their books. So those such books we should never use. That is why it is very important to buy an authentic book which is coming from a proper sampradaya, right? Because these people, because if somebody reads this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Mayavadi Bhasha Suniye to hue sarvanash. That is, once bhakti will go, and it is very dangerous if we think that we should not even attempt to read such books, because about Krishna, they are all very envious. Krishna, many places he has told that he is the Supreme Lord, and he has also done so many activities. Janma karma cha me divyam, right? The activities of the Lord are so transcendental, but still the people who are envious, they never understand the Lord. Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitramidamuttamam Pratyaksha Dharmyam Susukam Kartumavyayam. This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is perfection of religion. It is everlasting and it is joyfully performed. So this knowledge is the purest knowledge, right? So, and it gives a direct perception of the self. So basically, what is dharma, dharmyam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. So the intrinsic quality of something. So the quality of a sugar is to be sweet. So similarly, what is the quality, the dharma of the soul? Yes, anybody can answer. What is the dharma of the soul?
To serve the Lord.
Yes, to be the servant of the Lord, right? So that is the actual position. But now we have forgotten. So how should one perform this devotional activity? So here, susukam kartum avyam. It is to be joyfully performed. So even in Prabhupada says in Rupa Goswami gives in the Nectar of Instruction. What is that? Anukulasya, not Anukulasya. I'm not getting that. Abhyasat nishchayat dhairya tat karma pravartanat sangatyagat sato vrittihi shadbir bhakti prasidati. I think it's not abhyasat. Utsahat, sir. The first word itself is utsahat. So one has to have that utsaha, right? You should, while performing the devotional activity, one should be very, with all energy, with joyfully one has to perform. Utsahat nishchayat dhairiyat. So that is like having patience, right? In the devotional service, that I will be able to achieve, like one day I'll be able to progress, right? I'll be making progress and I'll be able to understand or the God. So this utsahat, dhairyat, nishchayat. So these things, confidence should be there. And sangatyagat satovritti means, so giving up the association who are non-devotees, right? Otherwise, you cannot progress in the spiritual life. And then satovritti means following the path of the spiritual masters who has given the acharyas who are coming in the sampradaya. So in this way, one can progress. So Gita knowledge is the king of education. So we have all kind of knowledge, right? These are all materialistic, whatever social, Ayurvedic, astrological, right? Science. So, but that science is a material science. That is nowhere we learn about the knowledge of soul. So why Gita knowledge is highest? Because it talks about the soul and also about the position, like what is our actual position of the soul and how one has to, I mean, after this life, how one has to, like in the chapter 8 we study how one has to prepare oneself for the after death, for the next life. So this knowledge is not, we cannot learn anywhere. So in Isho also we have a, it is said that Vidyamcha avidyamcha yastad vedo bhayam saha, Vidyamcha avidyamcha yastad vedo bhayam saha, tata avidyamrutyum tirtha vidyayamrutam ashnute. So basically, with the material knowledge does not talk about anything like the nuisance. One can only cross this ocean of miseries by developing the spiritual knowledge, which is called as Vidya. So whatever leads to Krishna is called as Vidya, and everything else is avidya. So if we are not serious in a school, what happens? We'll have to remain in the same class. Similarly, if we are not serious in devotion, we may have to remain in the same cycle of birth and death and in 84 lakh species. So this is a story of Narada Muni. So this is basically for the word, if you can see in the Pratyakshavagam. So that is by direct perception. What does it? That means like one need not have really highly qualification for knowing the bhakti. Even just by, so we understand here how a normal person becomes Narada Muni, right? Narada Muni in one of his birth was a Gandharva. So his name was Upabharna. So he was when he was a Gandharva, he was in a palace like of the Brahma, where there's all the there was Vishnu's puja was happening, and what Narada does, like he starts making glory of, I mean, he was looking very handsome and he was very proud of his beauty, and he sees some very beautiful the women, right? And then he starts making saying the glory, right? He starts saying the glory of her. So suddenly then all the devatas curse him because of that, and they say that you are not so fit to be here in this loka, in this planet, so you better be born as a Shudra. And then he takes he is born as a son of maid servant, right? So she was a single lady. And once what happens, he was like around 5 years old. So that time Bhakti Vedantist, right? These people come to their home in the Chaturmas. So she, she with the all devotion, she does the service for them and she make food for them. She's doing all that, and he, the boy, the little boy, he also, does a lot of service to them, and he takes the remnants of their food. So because the remnants of the food, when we have, because why do we have Krishna Prasad? Because when you have that, you get the consciousness. I mean, it purifies our consciousness. So when he has the remnants of the food of those Bhakti Vedantis, then he get that spiritual knowledge, and in very less time, I mean in few days, a snake bite and his mother dies. So being a small boy, he was not bewildered by the death. So he knew that he feels that this is all the Lord's plan. So he leaves for he just goes on in the forest, and finally he sits somewhere, and he meditates on the Lord, and Lord, he hears a voice. So Lord, 1 second he sees himself, I mean the soul and the Paramatma together in the heart, and he feels very joyful. And suddenly he hears a voice that you are still apakva. Apakva means you are not matured. So I will you will not be able to see me again in this life. So you need to do more austerity. So he does for 6 more months. He does, and then Krishna takes him. So next life he becomes Narada Muni. So it is not that by mental speculation one can understand the Lord, but with the pure devotion one can understand. So how can one do this devotional activity from the Navavida Bhakti? So basically once Prahlad Maharaj, he is son of Hiranyakashipu, right? So in the he was going to the Asura's Gurukul. So there, so one day Hiranyakashipu asked him, what did you learn from Gurukul? So then Prahlad Maharaj starts to sing this. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atma Nivedanam. These are the 9 devotional services one has to perform, he says to his father. And he says that whatever the education, his the material spiritual masters, right? So that is not real education, but what is Narada Muni has given is the pure devotional service, he tells his father. So this is the Navavida Bhakti. So these are the acharyas, you all know this, like Shuka Muni. Shravanam, for Shravanam, it is Parikshit Maharaj, because he was hearing. And then for Kirtanam, it is Shuka Muni, who is preaching the Bhagavatam. Smaranam is Prahlad Maharaj, because always he was remembering of the Lord. And Pada Sevanam, Lakshmi, because Lakshmi is Lakshmi Sahasra Shata Sambramak Sevyamanam, like thousands of Lakshmis are always serving the Lord, right, in Vaikunta. So this is Lakshmi for Pada Sevanam. Archanam. Archanam is Prithu Maharaj, because he used to do that elaborate temple worships. And Vandanam is Akrura. And Dasyam is Hanuman. Sakyam is Arjun. And Pada Sevan, Atma Nivedam is Bali Maharaj. So any of the 9, if somebody does, so he can get the love of God. Ashraddhadana Purusha Dharmasyasya Parantapa Aprapya Mam Nivartante Mrityu Samsara Vartmani. Those who are not faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of enemies. Therefore, they return to path of birth and death in this material world. So the people who are not faithless will never be able to understand the Lord, right? So even in the spiritual thing, like we put our faith in everything, even in material world. Similarly, we need to have that faith if we have to understand the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So the faith differs based on the 3 types of devotees, right? The Kanishta Adhikari is the one, the initial, right? He has just taken a Krishna consciousness, and he don't know the differentiation between the who is a pure devotee, or he will just think if somebody is by the dress he can make out, or by somebody is putting a nice tilak and he may think that he's a great devotee, or somebody recites the shloka very well, then he can be a great devotee. But no, that is a Kanishta Adhikari, but he is not having and he feels that the God can be seen only in the temple. He cannot see in the people, right? So, but Madhyama, and there is a chances of fall down is more in the that level. So Madhyama Adhikari is someone who knows differentiation. So he make friend with the devotees, and he avoids he has sympathy to the ignorant people, and he has firm faith in the Lord. That is and the scriptures, and he has but knowledge of scriptures is not very strong, but he has firm faith in that Krishna is the supreme Lord, and he ignores ignore the people who are envious. He avoids them. So this is a quality of Madhyamadhikari. And Uttamadhikari is someone who don't know the differentiation, means he does not differentiate because he is on the highest platform. He sees everyone on the platform of soul. He sees Paramatma in the heart of everyone. So if somebody has to do teaching like Prabhupada, he had to come down to Madhyamadhikari level to preach. So this faith also differs based on which like if devotion, if we are very new, our faith is not that strong. So how do we make our faith strong? By association with the devotees, right? The pure devotees, and who are associated with the pure devotees. So when we are then only we can come out of this cycle of birth and death. So both the cycle of birth and death is painful. Many of the time we have only seen that death is painful, but even science does not know that even birth is painful. So Bhagavatam describes how painful is the birth. It is not easy for a baby in the womb to because it goes through a lot of struggles. The worms and all bite, and whatever mother eats, the gases that in the stomach. So actually baby suffers a lot. So this is detailedly explained in the Bhagavatam. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagadavyakta murtina matstani sarva bhutani nachaham teshva vasitaha. By me in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. So how do we understand this? So Krishna is a person, but then again Krishna is there in he is pervaded all over. So this is called as achintya beda abeda tattva. So we when Yashoda, right, Krishna shows the universe in his mouth to Yashoda, to his mother, but in his when he shows the universe, entire universe, then Yashoda was also see herself in his mouth. She was also be able to see him Krishna, and also herself. So this is something we cannot understand, right? But this is called as achintya beda abeda tattva. So simultaneously one and different. So this is found by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So also one more instance where how we can understand this achintya beda tattva, when Parikshit Maharaj, right? It was in Uttra's womb, and then this Ashwatthama leaves this Brahmastra to kill the last progeny of the Pandava, the Kuru dynasty, right? Then Krishna enters into the womb of Uttara, but Krishna was also outside. So this is called as Achintya Beda Abeda Tattva. The whole cosmic order is under me. By my will, it is manifested again and again, and by my will, it is annihilated at the end. So Krishna is the creator of the universe, and he is the annihilator. So he does through different agents. He does not do directly, but through different agents, right? He expands himself to Mahavishnu, Garbhodaka Shai Vishnu, and Kshirodaka Shai Vishnu. So, and then he performs this. O Dhananjaya, all this work cannot bind me. I am ever detached, seated as though neutral. So Krishna is not affected by any of these changes. So he is Krishna cannot bind because Krishna is transcendental. Maya Dhyakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam Hetunanena Kaunteya Jagat Viparivartate. The material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction. O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rule, this is manifested. Manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. So Krishna, the Devi also, like the material world, the Durga Devi, she is considered to be the maintainer of this material world, right? So she is the one who takes care of this, but she also works as per the instruction of Krishna. But then she is the one who is controlling. But who can come out of this? All the three modes. Krishna says, Devi Hyesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratviya Mameva Ye Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. So, but somebody, the one who has surrendered to me can cross this ocean of miseries, right? They can come out of these three modes. Otherwise, it is very difficult. So, Krishna, in all the different yugas, right? He comes, he takes the incarnations. I mean, in the Satya Yuga and in Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga and Kali Yuga. These are the many avatars. So when all Krishna comes, can anyone tell? This is in chapter 4. When all Krishna comes. So many times, like one yuga gets annihilated and other yuga starts, right? It keeps happening. The cycle of yugas keep changing. Yes. When all Krishna comes, Krishna says.
When there is decline in the religious activities.
Do you know that shloka, Mataji? Will you be able to tell the shloka?
Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam shridhara.
Very nice. Yes. There is
dharma sanstha arthanaya
sambhavami. Okay, very good. Yes, very nice. Hare Krishna. Yes. Krishna says whenever there is a decline of religion, right? So every time, so Krishna comes. Avajananti mamudha mamudhaha manushim tanumashitam param bhavamajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the supreme Lord of all that. So the foolish people will never understand that even when God comes and performs so many activities which are not possible for normal human being, right? The lifting of Govardhan. So that too, as a 7-year-old child, Krishna lifted the Govardhan Parvat, which was 25 kilometers in height and also in the width. And for that too, not for some time, it is like for 7 days and 7 nights. But even after when he performs, the fools will never understand that he is the Supreme Lord, right? Because Krishna covers, so Krishna second in this he explains further. Mogasha moga karmano moga gnana vichetasaha rakshasim asurim chaiva prakritim mohinim shritaha. Those who are thus bewildered or attracted by demonic and atheistic views. In that deluded condition, their hopes for liberation, their fruitive activities, and their culture of knowledge are all defeated. So what Krishna does, so there are two kind of energies, right? One is the internal energy of the Lord, that is called Yoga Maya, and external energy of the Lord is called as Mahamaya. So for these people, Krishna is covered with this. So they will never be able to understand Krishna. So Krishna will be covering himself with this Yoga Maya, and they won't be able. So this Mahamaya makes them further get entangled in their. I mean, they get entangled. They feel that they are right? She engages in such activities, and from that they will never have the opportunity to come out of this life and death cycle. So the Shishupal, like Duryodhan, Shishupal, these people never understood that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakritimashitaha bhajantyananya manaso gnatva bhutadima vyayam. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls are under the protection of divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the supreme personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. So the Mahatmas, so the people, the devotees who are constantly engaged in these 9 devotional service, right? Shravanam, Kirtanam, any one of the or all. So who is engaged in this? Those people are called as Mahatmas. So Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami, the Brahma's prayer, right? So this is so the pure devotees, right? The example like Madhavendra Puri. So Madhavendra Puri is the Acharya who comes in our Sampradaya. He is a spiritual master of Ishwara Puri. Ishwara Puri is the spiritual master of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Madhavendra Puri, once he was doing the Vrindavan Parikrama and he was very tired, right? So he sits in below a tree and he starts meditating. So he didn't have the food for whole day and he was very hungry. And suddenly a bluish, black boy comes to him and gives him the milk in a pot. So he feels very good. Then he says, how did you know that I was hungry? Then he says, my mother told me that is somebody there, a saint is there, he is very hungry, you feed him. So in our village, it is we never, we never allow anybody to be fasting. So he says, and then he gives that pot of milk and he leaves from there. So that night, the same boy comes to him in the dream and he takes him and he gets a dream that he's taking him and he says that, see, there is a deity below this tree. I feel very suffocated. I am in this, I am being covered because actually that time these Mughals had invaded. That time all the priests, what they did, they just put the deities inside the earth. So he shows that, please take me out of it and you have to construct a temple for me. So then he goes there, he goes with the village people and they do all the excavation and they find the deity. So and then on the top of the temple, they then constructed the temple for the then Krishna. So Gopal deity. So then he understands that this is none other than Lord Krishna himself. So for the pure devotees, Krishna is visible, right? Because they are meditating on the Lord. Krishna personally comes. Satadam kirtayanto mam yatantascha drudhavrataha namasyantascha mam bhaktya nitya yukta upasate. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, going down before me, these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. So always, so Prabhupada, we can see, Prabhupada when he went to America, right, he started the Ratha Utsava, right, the Jagannath Ratha Yatra. Prabhupada started. So this was in 1972 when Prabhupada inaugurated the Jagannath Ratha Yatra. So they're always chanting. Prabhupada also, when he initially went, he didn't have any money also. He was sitting in the park and he was chanting all the time, right? People got attracted because of his purity. And Dhrudhavrata means like Prabhupada when he was with great determination. So Prabhupada, he was just 70 years. The lady, right, Sumati Murarji, she is the one who sponsored the ticket for him in the Jaladuta. She also says that Prabhupada, you are so old, Swamiji, you are so old, you will not be able to survive the climate of the West. So you better don't go. But then Prabhupada was very determined that he has to spread the knowledge of Krishna consciousness, and he has to carry the orders of his spiritual master. And also when he goes there, and many times whatever Prabhupada was trying, he was not getting success. So much of failure, and people were not taking Krishna consciousness seriously. Many times Prabhupada used to come to the port, and he used to see he used to feel that he need to go back to India. But then he would remember that no, that my spiritual master has told me that I need to spread this Krishna consciousness in the West. So that's how he was so determined, and that's how he was able to make 108 temple in the span of just 12 years. Prabhupada's whole Leela, right, was just in 12 years. 12 years he did so much of achievement. From 40 rupees, he made 40 crores. Can you believe it? Pitahamasya jagato mata data pitamaha vedyam pavitram omkara riksamaya jurevacha. I am the father of this universe, the mother, the support and grandsire. I am the object of knowledge, the purifier, and the syllable Om. I am the Rik, the Sama, and Yajurvedas. So we see some similarities from the chapter 7, where Krishna there also explains about his energies, right? Here also Krishna explains about the energies. So in how we can perceive Krishna. So I'm in the all Vedas. So I'm the goal, the sustainer, the master, the witness, the abode and refugee, and most dear friend. I'm the creation and the annihilation, the basis of everything and resting place and eternal seed. So the final resting place. So Krishna is the refugee, right? So Krishna is the eternal father who is accompanying us life after life. O Arjuna, I control heat, the rain, and the drought. I am immortality and I am also death personified. Both being and non-being are in me. So all these are Krishna saying for the non-devotees, because devotees are not interested in the energies or the potencies of the Lord, right? This is for the non-devotees. Tetam bhuktva swargalokam vishalam shine punye Matyalokam vishanti evam traidharmyam anuprapanna katagatam kama labhante. When they have thus enjoyed vast heavenly sense pleasure and the results of their pious activities are exhausted, they return to this mortal planet again. Thus those who seek sense enjoyment by adhering to the principles of 3 Vedas achieve only repeated birth and death. So these Vedas only speak about how one can increase the sense enjoyment, or how one can, there are people, the yogis, they do perform the sacrifices and they go to the heavenly planets, right? But Krishna is telling here, even if somebody goes to heavenly planet, after the pious activities are exhausted, they will have to come to this mortal planet again. So what is the point of going to heaven? Because the repeated birth is always there, right? Yesterday we saw Abrahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartino Arjuna Mamupentyetu Kaunteya Punarjanmana Vidyate. So this is just like a giant wheel. So the giant wheel goes up and then it has to come down. Similarly, even whoever with the pious deed, we can go up, but then we have to come down. So it is not a intelligent choice. Ananyascintayanto mam ye janah paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. But those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. So always the pure devotees are always thinking of the Lord. So Krishna is telling in the shloka that I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have, right? So personally I do that, Krishna says. So for this was a favorite shloka of one pure devotee. His name was Arjunacharya. So he was actually always contemplating on these words. And then once he feels that, okay, because he was having a Gurukul and he had 20 children and they were poverty. They were not having so much money. So he feels that maybe this verse, what Krishna is saying, Krishna will not be able to come directly. he will send his people. So he just Vahami, he scratches and he writes there Karoni, right? He makes 3 corrections. He takes out that. So then what happens? Then his wife says that we don't have food. Please, why don't you go and see if we can find some food? So then he goes for begging, right? Brahman work is patan yajan dana parigraha, right? So dana parigraha, he takes charity and he gives charity. So he goes he goes to get the food, and then he goes for bath, and then by the time here 2 beautiful boys they come, okay, with so much of food which would be sufficient for the 6 months, right? So much of ration they get in the bullock cart. It is full of eatables, and they bring, and she opens the door and she sees this beautiful boys. She is very pleased and she asks, who sent you? Then she says that your husband has sent us, the Arjunacharya sent us. But then he's very cruel, because she sees that there are 3 marks on their back, and the boy's back. So what happened? So she says that he had made the he had bit us, that is why this marks. So she feels surprised that this person is not so cruel. How come my husband did like this? Then she says, okay, you come have the food. They say that no, if your husband come, then he'll scold us. We are not going to stay. Then she forces and she gives some food and they leave. So when he comes, she narrates everything, whatever happened. So he's surprised. Then when she says that, I could see 3 marks on their back. So then he runs and he sees the book. So that is the 3 mark which he made on the book. He scratched that. So Krishna, then he understands, okay, because Krishna wanted to prove that I come personally, right? In a different form, Krishna can come, but then he may come personally to serve his pure devotees. So he finally understands, right? So Krishna's potency is unlimited. We cannot understand his power by our infinitesimal intelligence. So because our intelligence is like a ant, right? We cannot understand the power of Lord. So he expands himself to interact with each and every spirit soul personally. Yanti devavrata devan pitran yanti pitravrataha bhutani yanti bhutecha yanti madhyajinopi mam. Those who worship the demigods will take birth among demigods. Those who worship the ancestors go to ancestors. Those who worship ghost and spirit will take birth among such beings. And those who worship me will live with me. So it is just like I am taking a ticket for Delhi and I sit in the train of some a different train, right? I cannot go to the destination, and I sit. So similarly, if we worship devatas and expect that I have to come out of this janma mrityu jara vyadhi, it is not possible, because only Vishnu or Krishna, like Vishnu Tattva, can give the liberation. So Krishna is telling here, the people who worship the devatas go to their abode, right? Devatas, and people who worship the ancestors, like there are people who worship ghosts, so they go to that abode, and the ghost who worship will go to take the life among such being. But one who worship the Lord will take birth in the Goloka, right? They can eternally, they can live along with the Lord. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakti parutam ashnami prayatatmanaha. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit or water, I will accept it. Right? Krishna says, so if it is not like one should not be doing, we are not offering that. Krishna is not pleased with the money or the qualification somebody has. But Krishna is Bhavagrahi Janardana. So if with the bhav, with that pure intention and sincerity, if somebody gives patram, means a leaf, pushpam, a flower, phalam, a fruit, or toyam, a water, only these things. It is not, Krishna is not asking very many things, but only with the pure love if you offer, I will accept. Ashnami, Krishna says. So once somebody asked Prabhupada that, why are you offering so many, because in temple, 55 items are offered to the Lord every day. Chappan Bhog they call, right? So in the afternoon. So the devotee, yes?
56 items. Chappan is 56.
56, okay, thank you. So 56 items. Yeah, Chappan Bhog is offered to the Lord. So the one person comes and asks the Prabhupada that, why are you offering so much? Krishna is anyways not having, the food remains as it is, right? Then what is the point of keeping? So Prabhupada says, have you not read the shloka? Krishna says, patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati tadam bhakti paratam ashnami prayatatnam. Ashnami means I will accept. If Krishna is telling accept, so we should believe it. He accepts it. And also Krishna, his senses are transcendental, right? He can eat from eyes. It's not like Krishna has to eat from the hands. So here, Krishna, she's a one fruit seller. She was so much, she used to love Krishna. This was in Vrindavan, which Krishna was having his pastime in Vrindavan. So she used to call the fruit name. She was not calling the name of the fruit. She used to call Krishna's different name, Madhusudana, right? Madhusudana, Janardana, or Keshava, like that. Different names she used to call while selling the fruits. So once she comes to Krishna's house and she offers, like Krishna takes the fruits from is in tiny hands. He takes a lot of fruits, and while taking he goes and he brings grains, right? It just 2 grains, because in his hands he couldn't hold much. He brings 2 grains and she gives her. So, but that grains, what happens? The whole basket becomes it is filled with jewels and precious stones. So if we do with devotion, Krishna reciprocates. Ye yathamam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamyam. Right? Krishna says that when somebody is offers me with love, Krishna will accept it. So we need to start offering the prasad to the Lord. So how can you offer? You can offer just, a tulsi leaf, like on the prasad, we can put the tulsi leaf, okay? And whatever you prepare the bhog, whatever you prepare, do with purity, like take bath morning and then make whatever you make for yourself. Just avoid onion and garlic, and we don't keep the non-veg, that you all are aware, I think, for Krishna. So the sattvic food we offer, and then put the tulsi on each, and then offer it to the Lord. So devotees who offered with love, right? Sudama. So Sudama was very poor. He just brings that poha, right? The flattened rice. Yeah, the flattened rice. So he brings, and Krishna, very happily he has it. Though he was a king of Mathura, right? So he had all opulence. He had everything. But then, because he was pleased with the devotion, he has it. And this is, yes, who is this? What is she offering?
Sabari is offering that berries.
Yeah, how did she offer to the Lord?
She was tasting and giving the sweet ones.
Yes. Yeah, but then still Lord Ram had it. The Lord had it. And who is this?
Gajendra.
Yeah, Gajendra. Yes.
Gajendra
What did he
Moksha.
offer? What did he offer?
Lotus flower.
Yeah, just a flower, right? And Vishnu was pleased. Krishna was pleased. So what is prasadam? So Prabhupada says that Krishna does not accept anything from hands of a non-devotee. Why should he accept? He is not hungry. He does not require any food. He accepts only the devotion. That's all. That is the main point. So one has to become a devotee. So anybody knows a instance in Mahabharata where Krishna has not accepted from a non-devotee?
Vidur.
Duryodhana Mataji.
Duryodhana he has not accepted, and
Yes.
he goes to Vidura house and
Yes.
takes.
Very nice. Yes, very good. So he didn't accept from Duryodhana, right? Duryodhana had arranged a very big party, but then Krishna was not interested. But then from Vidurani, right? Vidura's wife, she was so excited because she was always dreaming that one day Krishna will come to my house. So she was thinking how I will give him, how I will feed him. But then when he came, she was surprised and shocked. She didn't know what to do. And she had only bananas at home, and she was opening and giving the peel of the bananas, right? But Krishna had that, even the peel Krishna had. Because why? Because she was giving with devotion. So why should we eat prasad, right? So to purify our mind, right? When we have prasad, it purifies our mind and it helps us in advance in bhakti. So many times, how people advance in bhakti, because the prasad is eaten by Krishna, right? Krishna's saliva is there in that. That's how. If you have, that is why people usually don't take the devotees. They never have outside food. Why? Because the consciousness of the cook is there in that food. So you should be very conscious. If the consciousness of the food is not, the cook is not good, the same we carry. That is why the devotees avoid to have the outside food and they have only the prasad. And prasad helps to develop the finer tissues in the brain. So when we have prasad, even our brain becomes very sharp, right? It is very good if we give to the children also. So this is Prabhupada, who used to prepare food, right? He used to prepare his own food. He had a container, like 3 portions he had. At once he used to cook everything, the dal, rice, and the vegetables, right? He used to finish his cooking 3-4 dishes in half an hour time, Prabhupada. And this is how we have to keep the tulsi on each, and we have to offer. It's not like in one plate where you keep 1 tulsi, but for each bowl you have to put 1 tulsi, right? So the tulsi, we shouldn't pluck on the Vadashi day and on the Ekadashi days. So other days before 12 o'clock, you have to pluck it and keep. And you can pluck more, so that in the afternoon also, when you offer, you can just put and you can offer to the Lord. Yat karoshi yadashnasi yajjuhosi dadasi yat yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat purushvamadarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. So this is actually coming to Nishkama karma. Not the Ananya, it is bit lower. So Nishkama karma yoga means, because all the time you cannot work for me, you cannot engage yourself for 24 hours. So then do the Nishkama karma, right? Nishkama karma means do your duty, but then give that result to me, right? So somebody is working, but then they give that fruits to Krishna, or that is called as Nishkama karma. So whatever you do, Krishna says, give it to me, and then you perform. Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshyosti na priyaha ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya maite teshu chapyaham. I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all, but whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend in me, and I am a friend in him. So Krishna is not envious. So he is there as Paramatma in everyone's heart, right? But then sometimes he looks to be partial, right? How he takes care of devotees. So how did he lift the wheel when Arjun was in danger? He wanted to protect his devotees, right? So Krishna does this. Many times we see Krishna seems to be partial. Why? Because they are so much loving. So Krishna is a person, he reciprocates. He is not he is not a stone, right? Krishna, he has feelings. That is why Krishna reciprocates to the pure devotees. Apichet suduracharo bhajate mamananya bhak sadureva samantavyaha samyak vyavasito hi saha Even if one commits the most abominable sin action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination. So one who has taken devotional service, sometimes there will be a fall down because they are in the materialistic life. There can be chances, like we shouldn't comment on the devotees of the Lord. Krishna is telling in this shloka that never comment on my devotees, because even if somebody performs the most abominable action, then also if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly. But we should also think that it should not be like knowingly, if one mistake we do, but again it should not be a repeated, then it is not, Krishna will not forgive. But here Krishna is saying, if sometimes if it happens, right? So here it is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and this is Nityananda Prabhu. So there were two people, Jagai and Magai. So they were born in a Brahmin by birth as a Brahmin family, but because of bad association, they were doing all the sinful work, right? They used to have the alcohol and all the four regulative principles they used to break. So what happens once Nityananda Prabhu was doing the kirtan, he was leading a kirtan party. Then this Jagai and Madai, they throw a stone at to the devotees. So one of the stone fall on Nityananda Prabhu's forehead and he starts to bleed. So actually his body is also transcendental because he is a expansion. He is a Balrama himself. But then this is all pastime. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was somewhere. But he wanted to, because it is said that the pure devotees are more merciful than the Lord. So Nityananda Prabhu is more merciful. If we want the blessings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we need to worship Nityananda Prabhu, right? That is why it is said that in Vaishnava Sampradaya, it is more like serving the servant of servant. Gopi Pada Kamalayur Dasanu Dasanu Dasa. So if you become servant of servant of servant, then the Lord is pleased. So Lord is, if somebody directly worship the Lord, Krishna is not so much pleased. But when we are worshipping the devotees, his devotees, he is very much pleased. So, Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he understands that the Nityananda Prabhu, he is bleeding. So immediately he appears there and he takes his Sudarshana Chakra because he is Krishna himself. Then Nityananda Prabhu stops him that you are not supposed to take the chakra because you have come here as a devotee. So you are not supposed to do this. You cannot kill, because he says in Kali Yuga they are already been died. It means fallen. They're so fallen. There is no need to kill them again. So he says that. Then he says that okay, on one condition, if they become the devotees and they ask you forgiveness, then I will forgive them. So then it is said they also become the devotees. So he quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perish. So that person who has come, who is in the devotional platform, so whatever anarthas he had, everything will slowly it will vanish. And then Krishna says that that person becomes righteous and attains the lasting peace. And declare it boldly that why is he saying declare it boldly? Because Krishna sometimes promise and he can break. Like how as a charioteer he said, I will not lift the weapon, but then he lifted. So similarly, but then he will never make his devotee fail, right? If he promise something, if devotee has said something, he will never make it fail. So that is why he says, you declare, Arjuna, because Arjuna is a pure devotee. He's asking Arjuna to declare. Okay. So this is the most confidential knowledge. Manmana bhava madbhaktaha madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishasi yutvaivam atmanam matparayanaha. Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee, offer obeisances to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. So this is the main essence of Bhagavad Gita, right? Krishna says how So all these chapters, Krishna was explaining about his energies and all, right? So how to see Krishna in different energies. But in this chapter, Krishna is explaining how one can engage in the devotion. What is a devotional service? Krishna says, Manmana bhava madbhakto. So think of me, okay? Madhyaji mam namaskuru. Think of me and become my devotee and pay obeisances to me. Madhyaji mam namaskaru means pay obeisances to me. And mame veshasi, when you are completely absorbed, you will come to me. So, and also in Krishna, in the last shloka, what does he say? Yes, what is the shloka? Surrender. Krishna says. Yes, somebody can tell.
Sarvdharman parityajya.
Yes. You can tell the full shloka, Prabhuji.
Sarvdharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshishyami ma shuchaha.
Yes, very nice. So this is the essence. And also in the chapter 10, Krishna says there is a Chatushloki from 10 to 8, 10.8 to 10.11. Krishna explains. So we can see in the tomorrow's chapter. So this is the most confidential knowledge of the today's chapter. So Manmana Bhava Madbhakto. This is think of me. Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru. Right? So paying obeisances to the Lord. Right? How can we worship? How to? So by how do you engage in devotional service? Right? You make food for the Lord. Right? Then we decorate the deities. So that's how we can worship the Lord. So this is from Purport. Okay, somebody can read.
Sometimes unscrupulous commentators distort the meaning. Such commentators do not know that there is no difference between Krishna's mind and Krishna. There are some who are demonic. They also think of Krishna, but enviously, just like King Kamsa. 9 process of devotional service. Pure devotional service to the Lord that is free from speculative knowledge, mystic yoga and fruitive activities. Those who are not purely sanctified may be attracted by different features of the Lord, like the impersonal Brahma Jyotir and localized Paramatma. But a pure devotee directly takes to the service of the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So this is the reason we should not refer to the commentaries of the Mayavadis, right? Mayavadis are the mental speculations, the people who do to give their own interpretations. So they are all demonic. And also some people say that Krishna, what is that? Everybody is God, right? That is also wrong. That is a demonic mentality. How can somebody be Lord? So Krishna, we can understand in the chapter 11. So even in tomorrow's chapter, Krishna explains about different vibhutis. And in chapter 11, there is a how to understand, like what is the qualification or what is the criteria Krishna sets. So how a God is, right? That we understand. So this people, the Gnani, Karmi, Yogi, Mukti, Mukti, Siddhi, Kami, Sakale, Ashanti, Krishna Bhakta, Eva Shanta, Nishkama, because he don't have any other desire than to serve the Lord. But all the other people, they all having the desire, right? Mystic Yogi, the Yogi wants some mystic. He want to have some cities, the Ashta cities, right? So only a pure devotee is not attracted by any features of the Lord, right? He is not even expect the liberation. So such person is said to be the in the pure devotional platform, right? I think this is the. So relationship with the God is the best relationship we can have, because he is the one who is accompanying us life after life, right? So with this we complete. We're done with this chapter. So you all can unmute and say Hare Krishna, can chant thrice. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama,
Hare
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 Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Hare.
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare.
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Rama,
Krishna
Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare
Thank you
Rama.
so much. Hare Krishna. Okay. Any
Hare
questions on this
Krishna,
chapter?
Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So any questions on this chapter?
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. You can also post your questions in the chat.
Anand? Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yes.
Mataji, how can we summarize this most confidential knowledge? Like, if we have to tell somebody in 3 to 4 lines, what can we tell?
Yeah, see, as I said, the three things are that we learn in Bhagavad Gita, right? The first is about the knowledge of the soul. That is the confidential, right? Then the more confidential is Krishna is there as Paramatma in our heart. And the most confidential means that Krishna's abode, right? That is, but in this chapter, basically, it is pointing towards the shloka 9.34. Engaging in the pure devotional service is the most confidential.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. 9.34, Mataji.
9.3. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Manmana Bhava Madbhakta.
Achha, Mataji, this
Yeah.
chapter is Raja Guhya Yoga. So
Raja Vidya.
Guhya Yoga, okay, confidential or secret knowledge. Why is it called Raja? Because
highest
it
of
is
all knowledge. Highest of all
highest
knowledge.
of all. Thank you.
Yes. Any other questions? Okay. Any of you have started offering to the Lord at least fruits, or you can just let me know. Okay, Yogita Mataji. Yes. Who else? Yes, Dinesh Bhatt. Very nice.
Actually, madam, as a practice, whatever is cooked, we offer, but we were not knowing that on each bowl we should put one tulsi.
Yeah.
That we were not knowing.
Okay. Good. Great. Yeah, just you have to put on each bowl. Okay. And Kusum Lata Mataji, yes. Anyone else? Please start offering, because we saw what is the advantage of having prasad, right? It's very important because it works on the consciousness level. So unless we have the prasad, our consciousness, we cannot progress in the devotional service. Is any other questions?
Mataji, a quick question for you. Generally, this is a very general question that I wanted to know. And I know that I'm a believer of Krishna since childhood. So I know, I never try to not follow any of the rules. Say suppose, okay, we are paying our respects towards Krishna. Okay. If someone in our family passes away, okay, they're flowing in the like they're going towards another in the water, but they're like flowing away, in the water. Do we have to do from our end? Do we have to pay, because we believe in Krishna, do we have to pay our respects or do any type of rituals in that area?
Okay, so you're saying the
if someone in our family passes away, do we have to pay? I know we have to pay our respects towards Krishna, because he is in the whoever in the family is not there, he is in the feet of Lord Krishna, which I understand that. But even though he is in the feet of Lord Krishna, do we have to do anything extra in our families? Like, do we have to do certain rituals to be
the
able
rituals,
to?
Prabhupada, what he says is like rituals when we do, offer it first to the Lord and then you keep to the ancestors. That's what, right? You are saying when
Yes,
death is happening.
yes.
So
Yes.
you keep to the Lord and do. So what happens? They also get benefited. They get that prasad, right? So when you're keeping to Lord and then you're giving to them. So
But
obviously
we don't have to lit any lamp, like say suppose like the 12th day or the 13th day, we don't have to lit any lamp, even though our last names is different. We don't have to, we can.
Okay, you are asking like those days, how do I cook and keep?
In those days, how can I be able to offer boga in those days? Like if there's certain days that I can't, even after I take head shower, if I want to offer food to Lord Krishna, how should I be able to offer boga? In those times.
I need to check on this, Mataji. I'm not clear, but what I am feeling, my understanding is that Krishna is not on a materialistic platform. So I don't think it will be a problem if we offer even in those days. But then, anyways, I will confirm on this because I'm not clear.
But we're not allowed to touch the Bhagavad Gita book, right? Even on the 12th day or the 13th day, if we're offering something, we cannot touch the Bhagavad Gita book with that also, right? If I'm wrong?
I don't think there is any restrictions as such to touch book and read, Mataji. Any days you can read. Actually, usually when you have to read, because many times when there is a death, people read the shlokas and so that they get benefited. Those times they chant more. So it is more you have to do that time, more spirituality. It's not like going away from God. You should do more that time, more chanting, more reading, so that the soul which has departed gets the benefit. Yes.
Okay. So even if it's someone else that is not that even if our last names are different and someone else, and we don't have to do certain rituals, even then also we can still do still read the book and also do the japa, right? Okay.
Yes, you have to do actually. And even in ISKCON, like when devotees die, right? They go and do kirtan for long hours so that person get benefited. There's a custom.
Okay. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Jayanti Mataji asked, okay, Yogita Mataji, we will send the aid if it is not shared. I thought it is. Jayanti Mataji, prasad can be fruits or anything else can be offered. Anything sattvic, even the dry fruits you can. If nothing is there, you can also keep dry fruits. Or actually, whatever you cook, what we cook for ourselves, you just same thing you offer, Mataji. Like morning you prepare whatever you prepare for the breakfast, right? But just see to it that it is sattvic and with the, like after bath, you prepare and then keep in, like that. But just don't use onion and garlic. Ideally, a devotee never eats anything without offering it to the Lord first. Yes. Yes, even a food flower, even water with devotion. So Krishna has made it so easy. At least everybody can offer at least water, all right, or fruits. Any other questions? No? Then we can close. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Namacharya Das Thakur ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.